The air inside this cave is heavy with the scent of ancient dust and cold stone, a sharp contrast to the bone-shaking noise you've carried up this mountain. You came here expecting a miracle that sounds like a shout or a sudden crack of thunder to break the back of your problems, or a wall of fire to burn away the things that keep you awake at night. But the miracle isn't in the storm outside. While you've been bracing for an impact, waiting for a god of power to level the ground beneath your enemies, you might have missed the fact that the floor you were sitting on is already solid. The frustration of the silence isn't because the protector is missing. It's because he's already close enough to whisper. You are leaning against the same unyielding stone that once sheltered a man who was just as exhausted as you are. Elijah stood in this very hollow, his mind fractured by fatigue and the fear that his strength had finally run dry. He didn't find his rescue in the great and strong wind that shattered the peaks of Sinai. He didn't find it in the earthquake that made the foundations of the world feel like water. Even when the sky turned red with a fire that seemed to demand an answer, the protector remained silent. The noise was only the herald, was not the presence. And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore into the mountains and broke the rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. 1 Kings 19:11-12. The wind tore the rocks, but it could not touch the man inside the cave. This is the first truth of this sanctuary. The loudness of your trial does not mean the trial is winning. It only means the world is being loud. The protector is whispering because he is already sitting here in the dirt and the ash with you. He doesn't need to shout across a distance to save you when he is already sharing the same air. That still, small voice is the only sound the storm is required to obey, and it is the only voice that actually knows your name. Look at the 2 slabs of stone leaning against the wall. They are cold, heavy, and permanent. They are physical anchors for a mind that feels like it's drifting. They remind you that the word was written in stone, so it would not change when your feelings did. Above the fire, the white dove sits motionless in the branches of the olive tree. It is the only thing in this mountain that didn't move when the rocks were breaking. It is the Spirit of God, staying quiet and staying close, watching the fire so you don't have to. You aren't waiting for a rescue to arrive. You are sitting in the middle of one. The safety of this room doesn't come from the storm ending. It comes from the realization that the storm was never invited inside. The 4th man isn't waiting for you at the end of your problems. He is the one keeping the shadows still and the fire warm while you finally let your guard down. You are safe. You are seen. You are held by a God who is currently whispering peace into the very center of your chaos. The cold of the rock behind you is finally beginning to seep through your clothes. But as your head rests against the hollow, your eyes are drawn toward the center of the room. The wind outside is now just a distant vibration, felt more than heard. But the internal noise you brought with you hasn't yet surrendered to the quiet. You've been praying for a breakthrough to change the world outside these walls. Yet the silence of this mountain feels less like a sanctuary and more like a void, as if the lack of a thunderous answer is proof that you've been left to face the dark alone. But follow the orange glow as it dances across the heavy, unmoving shadow of the tablets leaning against the wall. They do not need to shout to be true, and they do not need to move to be solid. The quiet isn't an absence. It is the physical space the protector has cleared so that his whisper doesn't have to compete with your crisis. As the firelight flickers, it reveals the ancient textures of the same stone that once filled the lungs of a man who was convinced his journey had ended in failure. Elijah sat in this exact darkness, his spirit crushed by a silence he mistook for abandonment. He had seen the power of the mountaintop, but here in the hollow, he had to learn the character of the dweller in the quiet. He realized that the ground beneath him had stopped shaking, not because the trial was gone, but because he was finally resting on the mountain of the Lord. These walls are not a prison designed to keep you in. They are a barrier the keeper of the fire has placed between your soul and the exhaustion of the world. Because you have spent so many years bracing for the next blow, your eyes keep darting toward the shadows, waiting for the roof to crumble. You feel the constant need to keep watch and keep planning, as if your own vigilance is the only thing keeping the mountain standing. But the protector is calling for a ceasefire within these stone walls. He is inviting you to lean your full weight against the rock and realize that the world does not rest on your shoulders. In the deepest part of the night, he issues a command that strips the authority away from your anxiety and places it back where it belongs. Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Notice that the knowing only arrives once your eyes stop searching for a way out. You cannot see the reflection of the stars in a lake that is being whipped by the wind. And you cannot see the protector's hand in your life while you are still trying to be your own savior. He is not asking you to understand the complexity of the trial. He is asking you to know the person sitting in it with you. The stillness is not a waste of time. It is the moment you realize that the one who governs the nations is currently governing the rhythm of your breath. He is being God so that you don't have to be. Your gaze drifts upward to the white dove in the olive tree, and you see that it hasn't moved since you entered. The tea is not startled by the silence or worried about the dark. It is the Spirit of God dwelling in the middle of your trial, proving that peace is not the absence of a problem, but the presence of a person. The fire in the hearth is low and steady, casting a light on the tablets that remind you His word is permanent, even when your feelings are not. You aren't being ignored by a silent God. You are being held by a quiet one who is close enough to hear your heart beat. The peace settling into your bones right now is the reality that the still small voice is enough to sustain you. You don't need a thunderclap to be safe when you have the creator of the thunder sitting on the edge of the bed beside you. As the warmth of the hearth blankets the room, let the need for a sign drift away into the shadows. You are safe, you are seen, and you are resting in the shadow of the Almighty. Your eyes move from the cold shadow of the tablets to the edge of the bed, and for a moment, the weight of your own exhaustion feels like an impossible burden. You are wondering how you are expected to find the strength to face another sunrise, when your spirit feels as fragile as the ash in the hearth. But as you look at the white dove resting in the olive tree, ask yourself this: if you have truly been facing these trials alone, then how did you survive the storms that came before this one? You've walked through fires in your past that should have consumed you, and you've endured silences that should have broken you. Yet here you are, still breathing in the safety of this cave. The strength that carried you through those living hells wasn't a product of your own willpower. It was the still small voice acting as the invisible architecture of your survival. Because the world around you is defined by constant change jobs that end, people who leave. And health that wavers your soul has been conditioned to expect a pivot from God. You wait for the other shoe to drop, thinking that surely His patience has a limit. But the dweller of this cave does not fluctuate. He does not have better days and worse days. He is the only constant in a universe of variables. He has anchored His identity in a truth that acts as a lead weight for your drifting mind. Hebrews 13:8. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Notice that the verse doesn't say He is usually the same. It says He is. The Jesus who walked through the storm to reach the disciples is the same person currently sitting by your fire. The God who stood with Moses on this mountain is the same God watching your breath right now. This is your ultimate safety. The character of the one who holds you is not subject to the chaos of the world. He is the yesterday of your past victories, the today of your current sanctuary, and the forever of every tomorrow you are currently dreading. You can rest because the one guarding you is incapable of changing His mind about you. From your place on the bed, the firelight makes the carvings on the tablets seem to pulse with a low, steady heat. They are the physical anchor for your soul, a reminder that the word is settled in heaven and manifested in this room. The dove remains still, a silent witness to the fact that the spirit is not restless. The fire doesn't need to be rebuilt. It only needs to be trusted. The still small voice isn't giving you new instructions. It's simply repeating the same promise it has kept for generations. I am with you. The peace settling over you is the realization that you don't have to hold on to God. He is the stone floor holding on to you. You are safe, not because you are certain of the future, but because you are certain of the one who is already there. As you close your eyes against the soft glow of the hearth, let the permanence of the mountain become the permanence of your spirit. You are hidden, you are anchored, and you are resting in a love that never changes. As you lie here in the deep stillness, your mind might drift back to the living hells you thought would finally be the end. Of youth's seasons where the grief was too heavy to carry or the anxiety was too loud to ignore. You wonder how it is possible that you are still here, breathing the air of this sanctuary, and by all accounts, you should have been consumed by the heat of those trials. It is a haunting curiosity to look back at the wreckage of your past and realize that you didn't just survive by accident or by the skin of your teeth. Look at the steady, flickering heart of the fire in the center of this room. It doesn't roar, and it doesn't fail. It simply remains. Your survival isn't a mystery when you realize that the heat you felt in those dark seasons wasn't the fire of destruction, but the refining fire of a God who refused to let you go. The shadows on the cave wall are long and soft, but they remind you of the darker shadows you've walked through before reaching this mountain. You've been through furnaces that felt 7 times hotter than they needed to be. Yet, as you look at your own hands in the firelight, you see no scent of smoke. The protector didn't just wait for you to exit those trials so he could congratulate you on the other side. He was the yesterday that stood between you and the flames. This cave is a witness to the fact that you have never once been a solitary traveler. Every worst day of your life was governed by the same hand that is currently tending this hearth, because you have been conditioned to believe that God only shows up when the problem is solved. You have missed the miracle of His presence in the middle of the heat. You keep looking for the exit as proof of His love. But the greatest proof of His character is found in the moments when the fire was at its peak and you were not alone. There is an ancient pattern to your survival, a secret that was revealed in another furnace long ago, which explains why you are still standing tonight, despite everything that tried to break you. Daniel 3:24-25. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished, and he rose in haste and spoke, saying to his counselors, "Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?" They answered and said to the king, "True, O king." "Look," he answered, "I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God." Notice that the men were not pulled out of the fire to be saved. They were saved in the fire. The miracle wasn't the absence of the heat, but the presence of the 4th man. This is the secret of your endurance. Every time you thought you were hitting the bottom, you were actually hitting the foundation. The Son of God was walking through those hospital hallways, those broken relationships, and those silent nights with you. He didn't stop the fire from starting, but He stopped the fire from claiming you. You are a survivor, not because you were strong, but because the 4th man was inseparable from your soul. Your gaze remains on the hearth, seeing the wood turn to glowing embers. It is a beautiful, controlled warmth, a reminder that the protector is the master of the flame. The dove above you hasn't flinched, knows that the fire is not a threat when the Creator is in the room. The stone tablets nearby act as the boundaries of your life, ensuring that the trial can go no further than the word allows. You aren't just lucky to be alive tonight. You are a living testimony to a God who walks through furnaces. The peace settling into your chest is the realization that if He was the 4th man in your yesterday, He is surely the guardian of your today. You don't have to fear the heat of tomorrow, because the one who kept you from the scent of smoke before is the same. One currently sitting at the foot of your bed. As the firelight softens, let the weight of your past struggles transform into the weight of His glory. You are hidden, you are proven, and you are resting in the company of the Son of God. There is a specific exhaustion that comes from feeling like you are the only one left awake to guard your own life, even as you lie still. A part of your mind is likely patrolling the perimeter of your worries, checking the locks on your heart, and waiting for the next crisis to break the quiet. You wonder if it is truly safe to let your eyes close, or if the peace of the sanctuary will vanish the moment you stop maintaining it. Look up at the white dove perched in the olive tree, silhouetted against the dark stone of the cave roof. It hasn't moved since you entered the hollow. It doesn't flinch at the shadows. Its stillness is your comfort tonight. You don't have to stay awake to keep your world from falling apart, because the one who built the mountain is currently standing the watch. Sinai has never been unguarded. When the seekers of the past found their way into these rocks, they discovered that the silence was not a void, the presence that was actively keeping watch. You've spent so long believing that your own worry is a shield, as if your anxiety could stop the wind. But the protector isn't asking for your help in guarding this room. He is the keeper who stood over the camp in the wilderness, and He has followed you into this cave to ensure that your rest is not interrupted by the ghosts of your day, because your strength has a limit. You fear that God's attention might also have a limit, that if you drift off, His gaze might wander. But the dweller of this sanctuary does not experience fatigue. He does not need the fire to stay warm, and he does not need the light to see. He has anchored his identity in a reality that allows you to finally resign from the position of your own night watchman. Psalm 121, 3-4. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Hold, He who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The promise isn't that you won't sleep, but that He won't. The relief here is the realization that the universe does not rest on your shoulders while you rest your head. While your mind finally lets go of the what-ifs, the protector is fully alert. He is watching the rhythm of your breathing and governing the shadows on the wall. He stands between you and every intrusive thought that tries to scale the cliffs of your mind. You can close your eyes because His are wide open. The dove's quiet presence is the physical shadow of the Holy Spirit, the only thing in this cave completely unbothered by the passage of the hours. Below it, the stone tablets remain as a testament to a word that stays active even while you are unconscious. The fire is now a soft, protective glow, reminding you that the room is secure. The still, small voice is no longer asking anything of you. It is simply humming a song of protection, a melody that says the watch is taken. The peace in your spirit is the realization that you are not in charge of your safety. You are hidden and watched over by a God who finds joy in being your shield while you are weak. You don't have to fear the arrow that flies by day, because the keeper of Israel is currently sitting at the foot of your bed. As the cave grows quieter, let the weight of the watch fall away. You are safe. You are sane. You are resting in the vigilance of the Almighty. As the shadows of the night grow longer, you might find yourself staring into the center of the fire and feeling a familiar, rising dread. You've spent your life trying to avoid the heat, praying for the flames of your current trial to be extinguished so that you can finally find peace. You wonder why, if the protector is truly in this room, the fire is still burning at all. But look closer at the way the light catches the rough edges of the stone around the hearth. The heat isn't here to consume the sanctuary. It is here to define it. The curiosity of your life is that the very thing you are trying to escape, the fire of your struggle, is the exact place where the fourth man has chosen to meet you. Peace isn't found in the absence of the flame, but in the companionship you find while standing in the middle of it. This mountain is famous for a fire that did not destroy. Moses stood on these slopes and watched a bush burn with a heat that was fierce, yet didn't turn the branches to ash. You are currently resting in that same paradoxical safety. You have been terrified that the intensity of your current season would leave you as nothing but dust. But the protector is the master of the flame. He doesn't just pull you out of the furnace. He enters the furnace and changes the nature of the heat. The fire in the center of this cave is a witness that you can be surrounded by a trial and yet remain entirely unburned, because the Holy One is standing between you and the singe. Because you have viewed your trials as a punishment or a sign of God's distance, you have fought against the very process that is meant to prove your value. You feel that the heat in your chest or the pressure in your mind is a wall between you and the Spirit. But the dweller of this cave sees the fire differently. He is not a distant observer watching you struggle. He is the craftsman who sits beside the crucible. He has a specific purpose for the temperature of your night, a promise that transforms the furnace into a place of revelation. Malachi 3:3. He will sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer to the Lord an offering in righteousness. Notice that the refiner is sitting. He is not pacing in worry, and he is not rushing to put out the fire. He is seated because he is in total control of the temperature. The purging isn't an act of anger, it is an act of intimacy. He is looking into the molten heat of your life, waiting to see his own reflection in the surface of your soul. The reason the fire continues is that he is still busy refining the piece that the world cannot take away. You don't have to fear the heat when the refiner is close enough to touch the silver. The fourth man isn't just a rescuer. He is the one ensuring that nothing of value is lost in the flame. Your gaze remains on the glowing embers, seeing how the wood is being transformed into a steady, radiant light. The dove in the tree hasn't moved. It knows the heat is governed. Stone tablets nearby remind you that the boundaries of this trial were set in stone before the fire ever began. The still, small voice is whisper quiet now, telling you that the fire is doing its work and you are safe within it. You are not a victim of the flame. You are the silver in the hands of the goldsmith. The peace settling into your spirit is the realization that the heat is not your enemy. You are being refined, not rejected. You are being proven, not punished. As you feel the warmth of the hearth against the coolness of the cave air, let the fear of the furnace melt away. You are hidden, you are precious, and you are resting in the seat of the refiner. By now, the silence of the cave has likely peeled back the layers of your distractions, leaving you with the one ache that even the fire cannot warm, the feeling that, at the center of your life, you are essentially alone. You've spent your years being the one who carries the weight, the one who solves the problems, and the one who has to stay strong while everyone else leans on you. He wondered if there is anyone who truly sees the depth of the exhaustion you feel when no one is watching. But as you look at the way the firelight stretches across the floor toward your bed, realize that the shadow beside you isn't empty. The most dangerous lie of the 2 a.m. hour is the belief that you are a solitary survivor. The truth of this sanctuary is that the fourth man hasn't just been watching you from a distance. He has been sitting in the middle of the heat, matching his breath to yours. When Moses climbed these rocks, he was terrified by the thought of going anywhere without the presence of the one who called him. He knew that a promise of a new land was worthless if the protector wasn't there to walk the path with him. You are resting in that same presence tonight. The stone tablets leaning against the wall are more than just words. They are the evidence of a God who refuses to be distant. He didn't just give the law and leave. He inhabited the mountain. The same glory that once settled on Sinai as a cloud has settled into this hollow. He is not a guest who visits when things are going well. He is the dweller who has claimed the space right beside your pillow as his own, because your world is full of people who only stay as long as it is comfortable. You have been conditioned to expect God to slip away when the trial gets too heavy or the night gets too long. You feel that your weakness is a repellent that drives the Holy One away. But the captain of your soul has anchored his identity in a command that is actually a commitment. He doesn't ask you to be brave so that he will come. He tells you to be brave because he is already there. He has spoken a finality into the silence that covers every second of your past, present, and future. Matthew 28:20, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Amen. The word lo is a call to look to see what is already true. It is a reminder that they always includes this specific moment, this specific bed, and this specific anxiety. He does not say, I will be with you if you improve, or I was with you when you were strong. He says, I am. It is a present tense promise that never expires. The end of the age means there is no territory of your life where he is not permitted to go. The fourth man who walked through the Babylonian fire is the same companion currently occupying the silence of this cave. You are not waiting for him to show up. You are learning to rest in the fact that he never left. The fire has settled into a deep, rhythmic pulse of orange and gold, casting a steady light on the stone tablets. The dove in the tree is tucked tight, resting in the absolute safety of the room. Look at the shadows on the wall. They are no longer monsters, but the quiet evidence of a light that is standing the watch. The still, small voice is no longer a whisper from the wind. It is the sound of a friend sitting close enough to hear your thoughts. You don't have to perform for him, and you don't have to explain your pain. He was there when it happened, and he is here while you heal. The peace settling into your frame is the realization that the loneliness was an illusion. You are hidden, you are accompanied, and you are resting in the presence of the one who said he would never leave you nor forsake you. So you feel the safety of the hollow wrap around you. Let the burden of being the strong one fall away. You are not alone. You are seen. You are resting in the fellowship of the Son of God. As you descend deeper into the night, the silence can sometimes feel white. That invites the pacing predators of your life to start circling the perimeter of your mind. You know their names, the what-ifs about your health, the never-enoughs about your finances, and the what now of your future. You've spent many nights paralyzed, listening to the growl of these anxieties and wondering if tonight is the night they finally break through the barrier and consume you. Look toward the mouth of the cave, where the starlight meets the stone. The reality of this sanctuary is not that the beasts have disappeared from the earth, but that they have been pinned to the ground by the mere weight of the presence in this room. The shadows you see dancing on the walls aren't hunters. They are captive things, muzzled and held at bay by the one who is currently guarding your breath. When the people of Israel stood at the base of this mountain, they were terrified by the thunder and the smoke, convinced that the holiness of the place would be their end. But Moses understood a secret that you are learning tonight. The same power that is terrifying to the world is a fortress for the one who dwells inside it. You are not trapped in a hollow with your fears. Your fears are trapped outside by a king who does not negotiate with shadows. The protector didn't just bring you here to hide. He brought you here to show you that he has authority over the things that keep you awake. The same hand that held the mouths shut in the den of Babylon is the hand that is currently resting on the latch of this room. Because you have been hunted for so long by the stresses of your day, you have forgotten what it feels like to be the one who is protected. You feel like a victim waiting for the next blow, but the captain of your soul has issued a decree over the creatures that tried to haunt your rest. He does not promise that the predators don't exist. He promises that they will be silenced in his presence. He has given you a specific authority to rest on, a truth that turns the lion into a footstool. Daniel 6:22, my God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before him. And also, O king, I have not done any wrong before you. The miracle in the den was not that the beasts were removed, but that they were made irrelevant. Daniel didn't survive because he fought them. He survived because he was focused on the God who governed them. This is the logic of your peace tonight. You don't have to defeat your anxieties or argue with your fears. The protector has already sent his word to shut their mouths. The innocence mentioned is in your perfection. It is your position as a child of the King, hidden in the hollow of the rock. While you sleep, the protector remains awake, his foot on the neck of every worry that tries to rise against you. The darkness is silent, because the Lion of Judah is the one standing the watch. Your gaze returns to the mouth of the cave, seeing the vast, quiet stars through the opening. The darkness out there is no longer a threat. It is a canvas for God's glory. The dove in the tree is tucked into its feathers, completely unbothered by the pacing of the world outside. The fire in the hearth has burned down to a deep, reliable glow, casting enough light to show that the corners of this room are clear. The still, small voice is no longer a whisper of warning. It is a declaration of victory. The watch is taken, the perimeter is secure, and the shadows are muzzled. The peace settling over you is a realization that you are the most protected thing in the universe right now. You are not a victim. You are a guest of the sovereign. You don't have to stay awake to watch the predators, because the one who muzzles them never slumbers. As you feel the safety of the bed and the warmth of the fire, let the last of your vigilance fall away. You are hidden. You are sovereignly guarded. You are resting in the authority of the Son of God. As your body sinks into the deepest weight of the night, the greatest trial you face is no longer the storm outside or the predators in the shadows, but the nagging feeling that God is still out there, a distant king watching you from a throne made of stars. You've spent your life reaching upward, trying to close the gap between your mess and His holiness, wondering if you could ever be clean enough or quiet enough for Him to actually inhabit your world. But feel the way the heat of this hearth permeates the very stone you lean against. It does not just sit on the surface, it saturates the rock. This sanctuary exists to remind you that the Creator didn't just carve this hollow to hide you. He designed your very breath to be His home. On the plains below this mountain, the people were told to build a tabernacle, a tent of meeting where the glory of God could reside in the middle of their camp. They thought they had to protect the glory, but they soon realized the glory was what was protecting them. You are that tabernacle tonight. The stone tablets leaning against the wall are no longer just external laws. They are the heartbeat of the one who is currently abiding within you. You aren't just a guest in God's house. God has made Himself at home in your heart. It's the same presence that made the bush burn on this slope without consuming it. Is the same presence currently warming your spirit from the inside out. Because you have been taught to see yourself as a broken thing, you find it hard to believe that the Holy One would choose your weary soul as His permanent address. You feel like a renovation that was never finished, a house too cluttered for a king. But the keeper of this sanctuary does not look for a perfect building. He looks for an open door. He has anchored His identity in a promise that turns your internal chaos into a holy of holies. A truth that removes the distance between the Creator and the created. Revelation 21:3, and I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and He will dwell with them, and they shall be His people. God Himself will be with them and be their God. The promise is not that He will visit you, but that He will dwell. To dwell is to stay. To dwell is to unpack and remain. This is the logic of your peace as you drift. You don't have to travel to a mountain to find Him, because the mountain has moved into you. The behold is a command to stop looking at your inadequacies and start looking at His occupancy. You are safe tonight, not because you have found a hiding place, but because you are the hiding place. The fourth man isn't just standing in the furnace beside you. He is the lifeblood in your veins and the peace in your mind. Your gaze returns to the center of the hearth, where the embers have become a deep, glowing heart of red. The fire is no longer a separate thing. Its warmth is now your warmth. The dove in the olive tree is so still that it seems to breathe in rhythm with you. The stone tablets are silent, their weight providing a steady anchor that keeps you from drifting into the what-ifs of tomorrow. The still, small voice is now so close that it sounds like your own heartbeat, whispering a single, constant truth. You are mine, and I am here. The peace saturating your spirit is the realization that the search is over. You are not alone in the dark, and you are not reaching for a distant God. You are hidden, you are inhabited, and you are resting in the tabernacle of the Almighty. You don't have to maintain the presence. The presence is maintaining you. As the firelight grows softer and the room grows stiller, let the last of the distance dissolve. You are home. You are holy. You are resting in the indwelling of the Son of God. As the firelight settles into a faint, crimson pulse, you may find that even your prayers have finally run out of words. You have spent so much of this night explaining your pain, listing your needs, and trying to find the right phrases to reach the ears of heaven. You wonder if the silence that has now filled the cave is a sign that the conversation is over. But the darkness in the far corners of this hollow doesn't press in, holds the space. This hour offers the realization that the protector doesn't need your explanations to understand your heart. The still, small voice has moved past the need for language, inviting you into a secret place, but the only thing required of you is to simply exist in the company of the one who knows you completely. When Moses drew near to God on this very summit, the scripture says he drew near to the thick darkness where God was. We often think we have to find the light to find the protector, but tonight you are discovering the safety of his shadow. The same God who dwells in unapproachable light has made the dark his secret pavilion. You are hidden in a mystery that your mind cannot solve, but your spirit can trust. The stone tablets are no longer something you need to read. They are a weight of truth that allows you to sink deeper into the bed, knowing that the law of love is the very atmosphere you are breathing. Because you have been taught to fear what you cannot see, you have treated the unknown as a predator. You feel that if you don't have a clear plan or a visible sign, you are drifting toward a cliff. The dweller of the unseen has reclaimed the dark for your rest. Your safety is anchored in a reality where the lack of a visible answer is actually the presence of a greater peace. He has spoken a truth that turns the midnight into a sanctuary. Psalm 139, 11-12. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light about me be night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is bright as the day, but darkness is as light with you. To the protector, there are no shadows. The things hidden from your sight are fully visible to his. This is the reality of your final surrender. You don't need to see the path to be on it, and you don't need to see the future to be safe in it. Here's the light about your night, meaning the darkness is not a wall between you and him. It is the very texture of his protection. Your soul is finally finding its rest in silence, alone, not because the world has stopped turning, but because the one who turns it is holding you in the quiet. Your gaze rests on the final glowing ember in the hearth. It is a tiny point of light in a room that is now mostly shadow, yet the room feels fuller than it did when the fire was roaring. The dove in the tree is a silent, white anchor in the glooming, moving, vigilant, and perfectly at peace. The still, small voice has become a still, small silence, a weight of love that covers you like a blanket. You aren't just in the cave. You are in the secret place of the Most High, where the unseen is more real than the seen. The peace saturating your spirit is the realization that you are finally understood without speaking. You are hidden, you are known, and you are resting in the quiet of the unseen. You don't have to understand the mystery to be held by it. As the last of the firelight fades and the cave becomes a world of soft, holy shadows, let your mind finally come to a full stop. You are home. You are safe. You are resting in the union of the Son of God. In the deepest stillness of this third hour, you have reached the place where the questions of the day no longer have any power to reach you. You've spent your life searching for a shoreline where the waves of your worry would finally stop crashing, wondering if you would ever find a peace that didn't require you to keep a constant, exhausting watch. But as the last glow of the hearth fades into the soft blue of the cave's shadows, realize that the search didn't end because you found the right answer, but because you were found by the right shepherd. The curiosity of your journey is over. You are no longer a traveler looking for a home, but a child who has finally fallen asleep in the arms of the Father. This mountain, which began as a place of fire and thunder, has become a place of absolute, holy quiet. The Sinai that once trembled with the voice of God is now the Sinai that cradles you in his silence. The stone tablets leaning against the wall are no longer a burden to be carried, but a foundation that carries you. You are resting on the very rock of ages that has outlasted every empire and every storm. The cave of Elijah has done its work. It has stripped away the wind, the earthquake, and the fire, leaving you with the only thing that remains, the presence that was there before the world began and will be there when the sun rises. Because you have lived so long in a world of goodbyes and unfinished things, you find it hard to believe in a peace that actually stays. You expect the silence to break or the protection to fail. But the keeper of this sanctuary has sealed this night with a blessing that is not a wish, but a decree. He is not just wishing you well, he is covering you in his character. He has spoken a finality over your spirit that acts as a seal on your soul, a truth that remains active even when you are no longer conscious. Numbers 6:24-26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Notice that the peace is given, not earned. The shining of his face means that even in the pitch black of this cave, you are illuminated by his favor. You are not sleeping in the dark. You are sleeping in the light of his countenance. The keeping mentioned here is the same vigilance we have watched all night, the unblinking, unwearied guard of the Almighty. This blessing is the final word on your trials, your past, and your fears. It is the signature of the Creator on the bottom of your life. The fourth man is not leaving the room. He is leaning over the bed to whisper the final benediction over your heart. The fire is now a memory of warmth, the embers having surrendered to the cooling peace of the stone. The dove in the tree is a silent, white phantom of protection, its work of vigilance complete. The stone tablets are your anchors, holding you fast in the middle of the shifting world. The still small voice has become a deep, resonant amen that echoes through the chambers of your spirit. Everything that needed to be said has been spoken. Everything that needed to be done has been finished. You are hidden. You are whole. You are home. The peace now saturating every fiber of your being is the realization that it is finished. You are not just safe. You are sanctified. You are not just resting. You are redeemed. You are resting in the finished work of the one who loves you with an everlasting love. The silence of the Sinai night becomes your own silence. Let the last breath you take be a surrender into his goodness. You are in the hollow of his hand, and there is nowhere else you need to go.